Have you ever heard of the radio station that never sleeps? A Russian frequency that transmits a monotonous buzz, day and night, without interruption. They call it UVB-76, or simply, the buzzer. But why would anyone keep a transmission running continuously for decades? Today we dive into a mystery that blends signals, secret codes, and stories that seem to defy logic itself. The story of UVB-76 begins in the 1970s, during the Cold War. In the Soviet Union, military communication was vital, and coded radio transmissions ensured that confidential messages reached their intended recipients. Amid static and distortion, UVB-76 emerged, perhaps as a test, perhaps as a sonic territory marker, or perhaps as something else entirely. But unlike other stations, the buzzer never slept. Day after day, year after year, it emitted that metallic, repetitive, almost hypnotic sound. The sound was simple, yet disturbing. A monotonous tone, with no beginning and no end. For listeners who accidentally tuned in, something felt different. There was something in the constant rhythm, in that relentless pulse, that created a sense of invisible surveillance. Some reported that, after listening for long periods, they felt a chill down their spine, a silent, almost conscious presence, as if the radio was watching them. But the buzzer wasn't always just a sound. From time to time, it was interrupted by voices. Cold, calculated human voices, reading names, codes, and instructions that no one could decipher. In 2010, for example, radio enthusiasts captured a different transmission, a clear male voice reading numbers and seemingly meaningless words. The reaction was immediate. Russian and international forums exploded with theories and conspiracies. Were these secret messages to agents, military tests, or something far more sinister, something no one dared to explain? The location of UVB-76 also added to the mystery. For decades, it was believed that the transmitter was near Moscow, but in the mid-2000s, the station was moved to the region of Povarovo, deepening the suspicions. If the station was harmless, why relocate it so strategically? Curious radio operators continued tracking the signal, trying to map patterns, identify voices, and decode transmissions that seemed impossible to understand. Theories about the station's purpose multiplied. Some claim it's just a test station, keeping equipment active. Others believe it's part of a military alert system, ready to trigger secret protocols in an emergency. But then come the bolder theories, that the buzzer sends coded messages to agents worldwide, that the sound itself is a reminder of constant surveillance, an invisible mark of control. And some even suggest that the transmission has a psychological effect, altering the human mind, causing tension, anxiety, and an unexplainable sense of unease. There are reports of strange events linked to the station. Amateur listeners have recorded voices reciting the names of unknown people. And days later, some of those names appeared in news stories about mysterious accidents or disappearances. In 1997, an unauthorized broadcast hijacked the frequency, replacing the buzz with human voices for hours. Experts never explained the source. Even with modern technology, bizarre sound patterns and incomprehensible noises continue to be captured by amateur recorders. Some radio enthusiasts have tried to correlate the buzzer's signals with military, political, and even weather events. Coincidence? Perhaps. But others claim to have found patterns, small clues suggesting a coded purpose that has never been officially revealed. Every interrupted tone, every voice, every number seemed to carry meaning, but always remained just beyond understanding. UVB-76 also left its mark beyond the military world. Musicians and sound artists have used its buzz in haunting compositions. Writers and filmmakers have drawn inspiration from its eerie mystery. Online communities obsessively analyze each transmission, every word, every number, as if unlocking it could reveal a forbidden truth. Even for those who have never tuned in, the legend of UVB-76 inspires both fascination and unease. It represents the unknown, the invisible control, the idea that something is always watching, always transmitting, even when no one is listening. It reminds us that the world is far greater and far more complex than we can comprehend. Some secrets, perhaps, are meant to stay silent, sustained only by an endless buzz. Today, as you listen to these words, remember, somewhere in Russia, the buzzer still hums. A simple sound, repetitive, but filled with mystery, secrecy, and a vigilance that defies understanding. UVB-76 never goes silent, and perhaps it never should. Each buzz is a reminder that there are things we may never fully know, and that some mysteries exist to remind us of our own fragile perception. If you ever tune your radio and hear that endless buzz, remember, for decades, that sound has crossed borders. It has crossed time, and it has crossed minds. It doesn't belong to one place or one purpose. It is persistence, it is surveillance, it is enigma. And perhaps, in the silence between each buzz, something waits, something we are not yet ready to understand.